Hello, my name is Philip Kingston. Welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 24th of April.
I'm Gary Peer. Welcome to our big review and the big real estate roundup for the week, Phil.
And Gary, we're coming live and at you from 11A Orange Grove in St Kilda East, or Balaclava, depending on how local you want to describe it. This is an amazing house and we will talk more about that later, Gary. But before we do, let's sum up what an amazing week we've had at GPA.
An amazing week, not such a great week in the football arena, Philip, because the Blues got shellacked by Essendon, a big Essendon cheer squad within the office, or big Essendon, I should say, following, with Messieurs Krongold, Darren Krongold, Adam Joski, and Leon Guzenfitter came to the sales meeting today with their Essendon scarves on, and boy, did they serve it up to the Carlton supporters in our office meeting.
And as they should, Gary, as they should.
Yeah. Let's get on to real estate, Phil, and we will get over the football, I'm sure. Talk about the weekend that was. Busy weekend out there, Phil, an 85% clearance rate from, I shouldn't say yours truly, but from us.
Yes, absolutely, Gary. 11 out of 13 auctions were sold successfully by Gary Peer & Associates, which gives us an 85% clearance rate, yet again against the industry average of about 61%. So I'm proud to see, once again, unlike our joint academic records, Gary, we're travelling along with pretty much an A at the moment.
Yeah, never got 85% at school, that's for sure.
No, well, we did get 85% when we combined both our scores.
Exactly, that's true. Let's talk a bit about some of the properties that we featured last week on GPTV that were auctioned on the weekend. One of them was in Saigon Grove in Brighton. Phil, you conducted that auction. I love that house. I thought I had a great feel. Tell us about that.
This was a beautiful house, Gary. This was renovated, virtually rebuilt by the owners, and the owners are builders. So when you sell a builder's own home, you really do sell something of incredible quality, because they put not only their heart and soul into it, Gary, but they don't account for their hours when they're costing out their renovations. So this was a house that I think was over-specified, which is great because it means the quality was incredible. We decided to do the auction in the back garden. We had about 100 people there, and we had good interest around the 1.1 mark, and we ended up passing it in, selling it shortly thereafter for $1.2 million, which I thought was a great result.
Right on the money. The buyer was a local person, Phil, came from Elsternwick, I
Correct,
understand.
correct.
Fair enough, good result and good outcome. The other auction we talked about, which was just a smaller price property, but we like to review all sorts of shapes and sizes and types of properties here on GPTV. That one was in Sutherland Road, Armidale. We talked about that being possibly in the high twos, low threes, but as it turned out, we were a bit out there because it did have a reserve in the low threes. Ended up selling the high threes for $371,000. So well done to Leo Samuel, who auctioned that, and Adam Joski, who looked after
We had a big crowd there, Gary. That was just round the corner, as reviewed last week, around the corner from one of my favourite cafes, Coin Laundry. And we actually put a little bit of a detour sign at Coin Laundry. So we got all of the cafe crowd coming to the auction, built up the crowd, but we did have 5 bidders, which is a real indication of how strong the investment side of the market is, and I think we did sell that to an investor.
The other auction that we reviewed last week on GPTV was in Newstead Street, and that was a good one. Attracted 3 different buyers there, a couple that were particularly involved in the bidding, and one that probably didn't quite get their act together to be able to bid, Phil. But we passed that one in. The price is undisclosed, but sold shortly after auction. So all of the feature properties last week sold well. Probably the most competitive, the one in Sutherland Road.
And just so you know, that sale in Newstead Street, I think we sold it towards the top end of our price expectations. A really good family home. And just a bit of a word about the pass-ins, Gary. We do pass a lot of property in at auction and sell immediately afterwards. And that is a well-practiced strategy of our team, where it's really bringing the performance of the auction to the forefront, but not necessarily about putting it on the market. And I think at some point we should actually explain that on GPTV so people really do understand what the whole auction process is about. It's not just about getting it on the market and selling it, it's about actually achieving the best result.
For your vendor who employs us, Phil.
Correct, Gary, absolutely.
Let's talk about some of the featured properties this week on GPTV. One of the ones we're right in at the moment. This is an incredible property, 11A Orange Grove. I feel like I'm sitting in a 5-star treehouse.
Well, you are, Gary. The local residents do lovingly refer to this as the treehouse property. We're actually in Orange Grove, 11A is introduced, but we're right on the edge of the Orange Grove Park, which actually backs onto another one of my favourite cafes. Anybody would think that I don't do any work, I just go from cafe to cafe, which is actually true. But it backs onto Little Captain, which is in Inkerman Street. And just if anybody's interested, they have the best muffin, not just in Melbourne, but on the planet, and that's in Inkerman Street. But let's talk about the property.
Please.
This is been built and designed by an artistic couple, and this is probably one of the best properties that I've ever seen of its type, Gary. It's both warm and architecturally schmick. I think this is a property that is unlike anything you'll see anywhere in Melbourne, and it's certainly been a pleasure to market this one. And interestingly, last weekend we had 100 people come through the open for inspections.
Did a little analysis of our stats, Phil. 51 open for inspections last weekend, and this one was number one in terms of response. So a real talking point, and we're going to watch this one closely and keep you informed on GPTV all the way through, see what happens at the auction in a little while. A couple of other properties under review this week is a fantastic period home, 21 Flowers Street, Caulfield South. This is a beauty, Phil.
This is a gorgeous one, and I'd recommend everybody go to our website and click on this house and have a look at the virtual tour. Not just to see me do the virtual tour, Gary, but just to see how clever this house is. Drop dead, gorgeous Victorian facade, but with the most amazing two-storey contemporary extension at the rear.
It's very unassuming. The facade is very pretty, but certainly it's sort of understated. And once you walk in, the home just opens up beautifully. So it really is one worthwhile having a look inside. We're both excited about that.
Absolutely.
The other house that we're both excited about is a property at 46 Cromwell Street in Caulfield North.
Once again, Gary, an amazing house, architect designed by Avi Mulder, architect, one of the best known architects within the area. This is a stunning house. The attention to detail is incredible, and it's almost like the owners haven't lived there. They're that meticulous and that pedantic. I couldn't find a chip or scratch when I went through this house. It is a newish house, but it looks brand new.
It's a good position too, right near Caulfield Park, so it's really in the heart of Caulfield North, on the doorstep of all the fantastic amenities, the tram in Hawthorn Road and Balaclava Road, the train up the road. So this is one really worthwhile seeing, an extraordinary home. So how blessed are we? We've got some beautiful offerings.
Absolutely.
Those three, just some of them.
Very exciting, isn't it, Gary?
It's really exciting, and so plenty of exciting homes coming at you. We're going to have a very big month in May. This weekend a little bit quiet, but we do have a feature auction. Phil, the auction that's coming up this Sunday at 11:30 at number 10 Hartley Avenue.
Introduced so beautifully, Gary.
In the centre of Caulfield.
That is a lovely home, right in the centre of Caulfield, near the intersection of Glen Ira Road and Hawthorn Road. This is a fabulous house. It's a corner site of approximately 7,000 square feet, with what I would describe as the most fabulous English-style home that's got lots of accommodation inside, beautifully done. You can move straight in, and certainly got some wonderful, wonderful features.
Another exciting home. We'll see you there this Sunday at 11:30. The weekend after this, the first weekend in May, Phil, a monster weekend. Something like $20 million of real estate being auctioned by our company. You're going to have no voice left on Monday. It's going to be very exciting, so we'll be talking a little bit about that next week at GPTV, and also we'll be introducing one of our feature people, because we've got the awards tonight.
We do.
For Team Member of the Month and Salesperson of the Month. We'll bring one of them on. What do you reckon?
I think that's a really good idea, Gary. I think we've gone on for long enough this morning. Thanks again for watching GPTV. Have a wonderful week, and we look forward to seeing you next Monday.
Have a great Anzac Day. We'll see you next week on GPTV. Thank you.